Chapter 8. That's about as close as I ever got to the Webbs. Not that they didn't keep asking me over for dinner, they did. I guess they didn't know it was me who meatballed them. Webb even said they would cook some real meat hamburgers just for me, or I could bring my own. They kept asking me to go other places, too. I just said no to everything, or I told them my father was taking me to ball games and stuff. Along around 3rd grade, they finally stopped pestering me, so I could stop pestering my dad. As the years went by, Webb found other members of his own species. A dork here, a nerd there. He gave them buttons. He kept offering them to me, and finally gave up. Sometimes, when I went past the garage house, I almost shuddered. No toys, no TV, no meat. It made me appreciate things. Sometimes I'd come home and look at all my stuff and say, thank you for not sticking me with them. When we started middle school, we were no longer in the same classroom all day. About all that happened between us anymore was him calling to me and waving when he saw me on the street or in the hallways. Then, 2 weeks into 6th grade, Mike DeLuca moved across the street from me. He didn't wear a button, first good sign. I asked him, you ain't from North Dakota, are you? He gets this nasty look on his face, steps toward me. He goes, what if I am? You got a problem? I step toward him. We're nose to nose. Maybe I do. I poke him in the forehead with my finger. He pokes me back. I shove him in the chest. He shoves me back. I punch him in the shoulder. He punches me back. And then, like there was a conductor waving a baton, we both started laughing at the same time. We howled, we roared, we rolled on the ground, and before I even found out the dude's name, I knew we were going to be best friends. He said he was from Pittsburgh, so he was a Pennsylvanian too. And he was going to be a pro football player just like me. I found out all this stuff and more in the first 5 minutes. By the 10-minute mark, we were wrestling in the grass. At 15 minutes, we were raiding my refrigerator. Later, we were looking out the front window and saw Webb go by. He was pulling his Conestoga wagon. I told Mike, there's a turtle in there. He squawked. What? Yeah, a turtle. It's his pet. He takes it for a ride in that wagon. He's been doing it almost every day since before the 1st grade. DeLuca didn't say a word. He pulled the curtain aside and watched Webb go up the street, looking like he was seeing a 3-eared Easter bunny. Finally, he turned to me and said, what grade's he in? 6th, I said. Ours. A slow grin came to his face. His eyes started to twinkle. I told him how I met Webb. I told him everything, buttons to oat burgers. I told him the stuff I did to Webb back then. But I don't bother with him anymore, I said. Mike looked out the window again. It was like watching a cat watching a squirrel. Well, he said, that's gonna change.